put a dollar sign in front of XAUWCU, and that is gold priced in the major currencies of the world. It's a basket of currencies and economies from the 20 largest economies in the world. And it's up 59.64% in the last 5 years, up almost 10% this year. The commodities are all going up against all the other currencies right now. It's just not going up against the dollar because for some stupid reason, the dollar is still very, very strong. I think that you look at the rest of the world, gold has been one of the best performing assets there is over the last 5 years, over the last decade.
Franklin President Andy Schectman believes everything is about to change drastically for the global economy. Andy says this change will be the toppling of the world's current economic system, a system tightly wound around the US dollar. The dollar has been the world's reserve currency for decades, and the United States has used every opportunity to remind other countries of its supremacy. Andy believes all of the advantages we enjoyed, and in most cases misused, are gradually coming to an end. For one, the existing fiat currencies, including the USD, are mostly backed by nothing. This is why countries like the United States have been gradually printing more and more money and rapidly debasing their respective currencies. So the entire global monetary system was rigged to fail at the very beginning. In addition, the United States, using its influence as a global superpower and the dollar's influence, has gotten away with a lot of things even more severe than it has and is still punishing other countries for. With the imminent collapse of the fiat system, Andy believes countries led by China and the BRICS are now preparing for a future where the US is no longer the world's reserve currency and commodities, rather than worthless fiat currencies rule the day. As this future approaches, Andy is certain that gold and other precious metals will increase rapidly in value because they will be at the very center of global finance. According to the Franklin President, other countries, including some of the world's top economies, are already preparing for this eventuality, which is why central banks have been amassing gold and other metals in record amounts since 2021, and these metals have been performing much better when priced in other currencies. During a recent interview with SOAR Financially, while discussing his views on gold prices, Andy explains that the leading precious metal has been appreciating well over the past 5 years, when valued against a basket of top currencies. He adds that the only thing distorting the real value of gold is the inexplicable strength of the US dollar. Inexplicable because the US economy is just $5 trillion in assets, backing over $150 trillion in debt. We will now bring you clips from Andy's interview with SOAR Financially for a more direct and detailed analysis. Please watch, share, and like this video. Also, ensure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications bell, and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Thanks for the support, and enjoy the video.
Who owns and produces the majority of the commodities? Who's the biggest gold importer and producer in the world? Where does the majority of all of the commodities come from? Rare earth metals, platinum, palladium, oil. I mean, so much of the commodity infrastructure is found in the BRICS countries. And so I think that would only benefit those countries exponentially. I mean, it would really benefit Russia. It would really benefit China. The countries in the Eurasian continent hold the majority of all the rare earth metals. You have the second largest exporter of oil in the world in China. You have most gold accumulated and produced in China. India, close second in terms of importation. So I think it would certainly benefit the countries that have been accumulating. I mean, who bought up 90% of all of the zinc disappeared off the LBMA last year? 75% of all the aluminum disappeared. Where did it all go? Who do you think's buying it all? It ain't us. It's the BRICS nations. It's China primarily. But they're buying all of these commodities. They're accumulating all, and they're not just buying commodities, they're buying and building oil refineries throughout the world in the countries that they are developing. Oil refineries, gold mines, silver mines, rare earth mines. They're building them and infrastructure to bring them to market, which will be sidestepped by Western settlement. They're not going to value them. They're going to settle them in local currencies until they have a common settlement currency. Don't know when that's going to be. They said they're going to bring it up. They want all of their finance ministers to really research this and bring their findings to the next meeting, which is in Russia next year. So I don't know, but I don't think it would benefit the United States, a country that supposedly has over 8,000 metric tons of gold, which hasn't had it audited since 1956. Why do they keep shooting that down? Alistair McLeod, who might be one of the smartest guys in the world, says China has 38,000 metric tons of gold, even though they only claim they have a few thousand. Excuse me. He surmises that the public has 18,000 metric tons and the state over 20. That would be almost 5 times what we have. Is that the truth? I don't know. The point is that I don't think if there were a commodity supercycle, it would benefit anyone but the BRICS. What are you going to do when you realize that the open interest in silver on the COMEX is, I don't know, most months 20, 30, 40, 50 times greater than the bars that are backing it? What if everyone stands for delivery and they get cash settled and the COMEX just goes poof? What about all of the gold and silver that are being delivered off of these exchanges in what seems to be very preemptive fashion by the most sophisticated traders on the globe? It is not easy to take money or metal off the LBMA or off the COMEX. Why are they doing this? Why are they delivering it outside the walls of the COMEX ecosystem? And what happens when the Moscow exchange, which was, when they built it, they said, look, this is specifically to challenge the corruption of the Western price settling systems, or the Shanghai Gold Exchange, or the Shanghai Futures Exchange, or any of the other exchanges in the Middle East, where at some point is the price setting mechanism by a system that is corrupt, that is allowing the futures market to dictate the price rather than the underlying commodity, in a way that is completely manipulated, where you don't have to be a genius to look at the AM fix and the PM fix and look at it over a long period of time and say that's how markets work, where it goes straight down every time, almost every single day. The AM fix and the PM fix, they knock the hell out of it, where it is suppressed and manipulated at 30, 40 times leverage, where the head trader for JP Morgan, who paid a $960 million fine to the Justice Department, and the guy that ran the trading desk are both sentenced to prison last week. So, when you talk about a corrupt price setting mechanism where everything is set in dollars, what happens when the rest of the world says, we don't want to do that anymore? We're going to use a different system. And you guys can do what you want on your side of the pond, but we're not taking anything from you, buy or sell at your bullshit prices.
The World Gold Council agrees with Andy's summation that gold has only been going down in US dollar terms, but appreciating nicely when priced in other currencies. According to the company, which prides itself on being an authority on gold, the precious metal has proven valuable for investors when you look at the broader macroeconomic context. It describes gold as one of the top returning assets year to date, especially for non-US dollar investors. It states further that gold has performed much better than one would expect when the Federal Reserve has been hiking rates at the fastest pace ever. The council adds that gold has performed well in other currencies, yielding between 2 and 17% more for non-US investors. During his interview with SOAR Financially, Andy also discusses the increasing causes of extreme and urgent concern for the United States and its economy. From the social to the financial, the precious metals analyst says there are a lot of things causing him to worry. Let's get back to the interview.
Just from a standpoint of being in the United States, the things that I don't particularly care for is the acceleration of things that were never really part of the American fabric growing up. I grew up where you tolerated, you respected people of different beliefs, different backgrounds. Tolerated isn't the right word. It's respected and understood, and that's where it ended. It's when we find ourselves in a world that is fixated on cancel culture and censorship, transgenderism, a world that has deviated so much from respect and transition to celebration, where you must embrace and celebrate people, even if they represent the minority, instead of respecting. And the things that were so important to this country, religion, the nuclear family, respect of institution, respect of the judicial system, of law and order. These things are all denigrating and in an accelerating fashion. And I think that is one piece of the puzzle that is not lost, at least on me, I think on the majority of the Americans anyway, with their eyes open, and the rest of the world. That is a departure from the stuff I normally talk about, economics, whatnot, but I think it's part of a bigger puzzle. I mean, one without the other doesn't tell the whole story. On top of that, we have the global mismanagement of the world reserve currency. We've had more money printed in the last 4 years than in the history of the country preceding it. We have suppressed interest rates for the better part of a decade or longer. And along those lines, flooded the market with money, creating massive distortions and imbalances, misallocations of resources and capital, where price discovery became impossible. And now what is really putting a lot of strain on the domestic system here is that if you go back to January 1st, 2022, the interest rate on a 3-month treasury was 0.06%. That was January 1st, 2022. Here we are at the end of, let's say we're almost to September 1st of 2023. So what's that? That's 12 and 9. That's 21 months. So in 21 months, the interest rate, I'm just going to use this to make my point, on the 3-month treasury was 0.06. Today, it's over 5.5%. And so when you talk about the strain that has put on so much of the entire system, in particular the banks, things are not really, in my opinion, in a good shape here in the United States. And then you look at this growing chorus of countries around the world that are uniting together against the sanctions and the weaponizing of the dollar, against the Western hegemony and hypocrisy, where a country like the United States can go into Iraq and destroy and destabilize the country in the search of weapons of mass destruction, say, oops, we're sorry, we didn't find them, and there are no consequences for it. Yet we go around passing out sanctions in a way that I think the rest of the world looks as supremely hypocritical. And you look at Iraq, they just made trading in dollars for businesses illegal, punishable by jail time and losing your business. I don't know how excited they were to see us come and help. So, I guess from a 40,000-foot view, I'm not particularly optimistic on many fronts. Look, this is still the best country in the world, but so much of what has made this country great is being ripped apart and frayed.
Since the announcement of the new addition of Argentina, Iran, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, and Ethiopia to the BRICS alliance, experts have been analyzing the bloc's growing strength, especially around commodities. For instance, Argentina has the 3rd largest lithium reserves in the world and will strengthen the bloc's lithium supply. Come January, the BRICS alliance will have 3 of the 5 largest lithium producers in addition to China and Brazil. In addition, a JP Morgan report from last year estimates that the country's share of the world's lithium supply would rise from 6% in 2021 to 16% by 2030. If that happens, Argentina will become the world's 2nd largest lithium producer, surpassing Chile. Argentina currently has 13 ongoing lithium projects, according to reports, the most compared to every other country. Do you agree that the dollar is about to lose its top place to commodities as the main focus of global trade and finance? Please share your thoughts and comments with us in the comments section below. Also, ensure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.